Yo, what up, my guy?
What's up, my guy? Oh, I like the hat, man. That's what's up.
Bro, this is like my favorite hat right now. I love that it's like the electric pink. Like that's my shit.
Suddenly I see my true.
I might have a co-host jump in here every now and then. I don't know. It depends on how he
Okay,
feels.
that's what's up.
Yeah, my little 4-year-old, he's all over the place. So
That's cool, man. That's your youngest?
yeah, that's my youngest. So I thought I had it all figured out because my oldest is about to be 18 this year because I had him right when we got done with high school. And I was like,
Wow.
ooh. I was like, when he grows up, I'm gonna still be young enough to still move and shake out here. You know what I'm saying? Then I started
Right, right.
then I started over, bro.
Clearly. Um, yeah, I'm a late to the game. I mean, comparably, I mean, I don't consider it late, but I have a 2-year-old, so
Oh, so you got a new.
yeah, yeah. Yep. I got a 2-year-old. Um, he's yeah, he's a game changer.
If money were no object, what would you be doing right now? Like if you had all the money in the world.
Man, if money were no object, what'd you say if I had all the money in the world, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Man, here's the funny thing is like one of my issues like throughout my whole life is like I've really never been able to like focus on just one thing. Like and like for long growing up, right? They
Mhm.
tell us like, eventually you got to put all your eggs in one basket so that you can master your craft in like in one basket. And like, but I've never really been a person, which has been good and bad.
Mhm.
Um, so it's hard to say like if there was one thing that I could do if I had if money were no object. Um, but I think like honestly, I would it would be something in the world of you know trying to get every like um boy growing up without a dad,
Mhm.
some type of mentor father figure, paired with some type of mentor. If I had all the money in the world, I think it's such a big thing, me growing up really without my dad in my life.
Yeah,
I was fortunate though that God did put some strong father figures in my life, and I know that that made a impact on me. Because being raised by a single mom, it was only so much that she could do. And plus, I mean, she had her own mental health issues that made things rough. So yeah, man, it would be to get all these fatherless sons,
yeah.
some father figures, bro.
I'm with that. I think representation is super important, man. That's a different answer though, because a lot of people probably would have said like something for them, but that was a selfless answer, man. So, Black Power fist to you on that one. All right. So, what is your favorite magical or mythological creature?
Oh man, that's easy. That's a hippogriff from Harry Potter.
Oh, you know what's crazy? And a lot of people probably look at me funny for saying I told myself I'm gonna watch all the Harry Potters. I'm not really sat down to watch the Harry Potter movies or read the books, so I don't know what a hippogriff is.
Yeah, so it's like it's a flying like uh I mean to kind of basic it's a combination of a bird and a horse.
Okay.
So like almost like you like similar to like if someone like a unicorn, but um it has some other features. So between a hippogriff or a phoenix, because a phoenix is pretty dope too, that like every time you get to like the end of your road, like you burn yourself and come back to life. That's
Yeah.
like if I feel like that's like that would be such a great superpower, right, for us as humans. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like we go through it anyways.
True.
You know, it's like we get to these different chapters, go through these different chapters of our life,
Mm-hmm.
and then, you know, time to reinvent yourself, which is like something that I think is really cool about you. You know, like we've known each other for a long time, but it's not like we've been in each other's lives forever. But like I've always know, like I've seen you like do and pivot and do so many different things, which is super cool to me.
I appreciate it. I can say the same for you, man, because you know what? I knew that you were involved with music a little bit, but then when I saw the promo that you put out for the new single for Suddenly, like my mind
Yeah.
exploded, bro. Cause like that was such on another level. I was like, okay, he got one right here. But let's talk about that song, because I feel like you are a strong advocate for mental health. I'm a strong advocate for mental health, and the song itself
Yep.
is very in that realm. So I know what that song meant, what I got from it, but can you talk about like what that song means for you and what you want people to get from it?
Yeah, for sure. So like, I mean, just like you said, you know, I'm an advocate for mental health. I think that's something that, you know, is not talked about, you know, supremely in our culture, especially growing up. You know, it's funny, like, you know, growing up, you probably heard this, like, you know, people in your family, you know, they would talk about certain people, you know, either in our family or outside, and they would say things like, you know, oh, you know, he's sick, you know, or like, you know, he don't got it all, or, you
Yeah,
know, things like weird things, like, you know, but, you know, so for me, like, you know, I've been through the gambit when it comes to like, you know, understanding my mental health and like trying to get healthy. And it's still a struggle for me.
right.
And so, you know, even with my mom being a healthcare professional, it was ignored in my family growing up. You know, it was never addressed. And like I said, my mom's been through, she has her, you know, a lot of mental health issues that she's now addressed, but she didn't address till she was in her 50s or 60s, you know?
Yeah,
Um, and so for me, yeah, man, the song was really just kind of a self-reflection of like, I've been through so many different things in my life where, you know, I would either blame other people, you know, or I would blame my circumstances. And the reality is like, man, you know, a lot of this has to do with Ashton. You
yeah.
know, Ashton is responsible and has to be accountable for a lot of my actions.
Accountability.
You
Yeah,
know, so that, you know, that's yeah, accountability is that's the overwhelming arc of the song. But obviously, you know, there's a lot of the song that deals with going through that process of like, you know, the pill factory and, you know, taking all these different medications and like none of it working. And it's like I said, you get to a conclusion where it's just like you got one or two choices. You know, at least it is for me. I suffer from severe depression. So, you know, that's something that I've had to A, accept, but B, realize that it has really little to do with what's going on around me. That it's just, you know, it's a chemical imbalance in my brain that I'm gonna have to deal with for a long time.
right.
And so, you know, going through, um, you know, all the different medications and things like that. But when it got to the end of the road, like I said, you make one or two choices. Either you're going to help yourself and you're going to get better, you know, or you're going to end it all, man.
Yeah,
And, you know, you're not going to be here. And so that's one thing my son, you know, has definitely breathed some life into me, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, which has been a huge effect for me, man.
yeah. Kids will do that. Kids will do that because I know. Well, first let me address. So with the song, uh, I love how on the video
Yeah.
how you have the mirror. You know what I mean? So it's like you're speaking to the mirror because I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that's missing. Like you said, people have to look into the mirror, and that's where a lot of the healing starts. when I know for me, when I did that, like
Yep.
you said, I've pivoted a couple times and figured out. The thing is, I figured out my purpose and I figured out who I am as a person as well. And it took a while. It's a journey. And so
Right.
once I looked into that mirror,
Yep.
it helped me understand that a lot of the things that I've been going through, like you said, I blamed a lot of other people, but it's not them, it's me. And of course there could be contributing factors from other people. However,
Right.
the common denominator is me. So once I did that, man,
Exactly.
once I did that, I could tell a huge change on my life. Like my first book, Conversations in the Mirror on a Ladder. That's the whole purpose for the mirror part. Conversations in a Mirror is the first part of that title. So I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, Rob, like, get your shit together, bro. Like, it's not everybody else. What can you do to be a better version of yourself?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. And so,
Right. How can it be everybody else every
yeah.
time?
And so the kids part, I can say without a doubt, if my kids were not here, I don't know where I would be. Like I always say, my kids saved my life over and over again. They saved
Yeah.
my life residually. You know what I mean?
Word.
So like when I get down or depressed or whatever, I can always
Word.
go back to them
Man.
being my purpose and my why, and then just go from there.
I can dig that. I didn't have that, like I said, until recently. And
Yeah.
I can, bro, that hits me hard where you say my kids have saved my life. So residually, bro.
Yeah.
That's, man. And I'm not even with my son 24/7 like you are with your kids. So, man, residually, the last 2 years of my life have been some of the toughest times.
Yeah.
And in my darkest places, it's like I think about my son, and it's like, what good is it gonna do him? You know, even in my worst state, probably, you know, it would be better for him to have his father here than
Yeah.
not. People don't know this stuff, you know, about when they see people through a lens of like social media. You
Yeah.
know, they don't know how dark things get for people.
Right.
You know, they only see the highlights, you know, the highlight reel. And that's why, I mean, and honestly, like, you know, really social media is not, it's not really the best place to portray everything, but that's just like the world we live in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people learn more about each other through social than they do a you know, face-to-face conversation. But yeah, man, people don't know that people go through these things, and that's why these conversations need to happen. You know, that's why I was like, you know, I think the title of this series that you're doing, just like therapy sessions, is such a great title, you
I
know?
appreciate it. Yeah. Because I feel like it's needed, man, because I feel, especially in our community, we don't really know how to talk and connect on a real level. Because like you said, social media and the highlights are where everybody wants to portray this almost perfect version of themselves, right?
Yeah,
But in
yeah,
reality, how can we actually be ourselves and heal? Because we can easily get lost in who we are via social media. So that's why I always like to ask people, like I said, I know you've seen the other two episodes, but like I ask people, how are you? Like, how are you doing mentally?
I love it. I love that, man.
Yeah,
Yep. I saw it on both episodes. You did that, and I love that, man, because that's like, that's so important. Like, you know, I mean, I'm someone who have, like, you know, with over the years working through with my therapist, have realized, like, you know, I've been, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to this, especially being your roles that you have in the military.
mm-hmm.
You know, that, like, typically, you know, you're someone who pour into other people.
Yeah,
You know, and you don't really pour into yourself.
right,
And I ran away from myself, you know, and neglected myself for whatever reasons, for many, many years in my life. And so, like, now it's still difficult to take a step back and say, bro, you need to ask for some help. Like, you need to talk to somebody. You know, you need to have somebody in your corner. Because typically I've been that person for other people.
and that's the thing too. That's one thing I had to learn is that it's easy to be everything to everybody else and nothing to yourself. You know what I mean? And not know who you are. That was just off the top. Because I write about that from different perspectives a lot, because there's one of my poems where I said that I lost you in the dark and I found myself in the light. Meaning, like, once I enlightened myself and came to the realization of, all right, all that stuff I thought was important, you know, it actually made me lose who I am. I lost myself. And that goes that goes for pop culture. That goes for other people. That's just everything else that you pour into.
Yep.
And in the midst of all that, you lose who you are. You lose sight of who you are. So it's like, man, I feel like everybody has to get back to that central theme, which is like purpose at the end of the day.
Purpose and service, man. Like, you know, service is just such a big thing. You know, our boy Dougie Cornwell, right?
Yep.
You know, like he went through so much stuff in his life, and that's my dog, man. And we talk on a regular, but he found his purpose in service, man. Like realizing, like, serving other people and these kids and doing everything. And like, you know, we've seen the evolution of what he's doing with his programs, but like ultimately it's about service. And I think like everybody needs to have some type of level of service in their life. And I know for me, like when it's not there and I'm just serving myself, because it's easy to do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm really good at forgetting where Ashton was or where Ashton could be. And then I'm just worried about Ashton. And then the next thing you know, I'm back in a dark place again. And it's like, how'd you get here again, man? And it's like, oh, one of the big things is you stop service. You stop that, you know, you just looking out for yourself, and you don't do it, purposely. You know, it's an innate thing with human beings, that, you know, we get back to that place of self-serving.
Service is the cornerstone for leadership, I think, man. And it's hard for people to understand that, but the more you put people first and you serve other people, I think a misconception is that a leader isn't a servant. But in reality, it's the opposite.
Exactly. Huge.
Yeah. And I read a lot of books. I read a lot of leadership books and they all have that same common theme, man. Like, in order to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower at the end of the day, and a great servant. All of those things tie into each other, and I think people have to learn that. But like you said, with Doug, man, me and him still talk too. Yeah. He's doing great things, man. I love I love what he's become, man. Like, let me tell you about Doug in basketball, right? So, you know, we came up hooping together. Me and Doug hooped together a lot. Like, I don't know if people understand how much, like, ever since what we were about, I want to say 8th grade, maybe younger.
Yeah, I mean, and you play the same position, so it's like, you know.
But let me tell you what's so impressive to me about Doug, and I don't think I've ever even told him that. Or told him this. So we played AAU basketball back in the day, and community league and all that. Doug was a really little guy. He was really little, real skinny, right?
Tiny dude.
Yep. But I never really like I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've been nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was nice. So, but I always looked at him.
Of course, I would know that.
I looked at him like, this little dude, like, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you, Doug is like the kids that I think the kids that he leads need to understand this about him. He is perseverance, hard work, and dedication personified to me. Because coming from that small guy.
No question, man.
Coming from that small guy, right? I think he understood early on that he had a long way to go to be able to compete with us. So he worked hard. I'm telling you, Doug worked hard. But then he hit a growth spurt, which blew my mind because he grew to like.
In high school.
Like, how do you hit
in high school?
Yeah. And then now
he went from like 5'7" to like 6 foot.
Yeah. But then when he did that, his game started getting better too, because we used to go all around everywhere hooping together. And
Okay.
and Doug was just, hey, that's my man. Hey,
That's
I
my
ain't gonna say
dog,
Doug
man.
got better than me, but Doug was up there though.
He said, I ain't gonna say he was better than me,
Yeah,
but
I'll never say that, but he's up there though.
yeah, no, you never. No,
Yeah,
he definitely. I mean, he obviously took his game to another level. Like you said, through hard work, and like I think that's something that he instills in the kids that he plays with. Because look, I can almost guarantee you right now, it's kids that come out there who come to train with Doug, who are in high school, who look at him off rip and like, man, I smashed. And then Doug go out there and put it on him at 37. Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so it's it's uphill, been a battle for him, and then just personally too, like he's, that's why, you know, that's what we talk about mostly these days is just like our personal battles and our personal struggles. And it's like, I don't have a lot of people like that. And it's funny how God just recycles some people in your life
yeah,
when you need them, or the universe or whatever one people want to call it, you know. But for me, it's just like I just love seeing people win, bro.
yeah,
I just love seeing people win and like finding their purpose. Like I've been on so many different journeys in my life. So like I feel like, me like one thing my therapist explained to me, a couple years ago was that I'm an empath, and that I have an empath personality. And I had never heard of it before.
What is that?
Uh, so an empath, just like for the plain and simple, is somebody who just feels things deeper
Yeah,
than most people. And so like a typical empath is like somebody who can, if somebody else is hurting, they feel their hurt, deeply.
yeah,
And then on the flip side of that also is like when you're going through things, you feel things, so like if you like, let's just put it like on a man and woman situation or a husband and wife, right?
yeah,
A person who's not an empath, if they got into an argument with their wife, right?
mm-hmm.
They would be mad, they would be upset, and they just be upset, about whatever the circumstances were. But an empath, somebody that they're upset and they're also because their partner's upset.
Yeah,
So you take on the feelings and emotions of another person, or other people. And so that like for me, man, like I grew up like in a different kind of like listening to different music and stuff like that than a lot of kids that were black growing up.
yeah,
So like I listened to a lot of punk, a lot of emo music, and so like when I first heard emo music, like, and it was, which stands for emotional, music, it was something that like spoke to me like something completely different than anything else I had ever heard. So because like first of all, growing up in my house, and I think you can relate a little bit, like I really wasn't allowed to listen to secular music. Like I had to sneak and listen to it.
Can I tell you a story about this one time in my house? So,
Yeah.
so I forget what grade it was. You're on point with that because my mom, so I had a Masterpiece CD, right? I don't know if kids
Woo!
today know what a CD is, but a
Woo!
CD, we had to put it in a stereo. Yeah, I had it. So I had a Masterpiece CD, True. I'm gonna put it up so people can see which one it is. But when I
Yes.
But I'm rocking to it, right? I'm rocking to it in the room or whatever. I think I had the volume perfect to where my parents couldn't hear it or whatever. My mother came.
Oh, no headphones? Oh, you were doing it with
nah. Headphones.
just
Nah.
the stereo.
Man, I
The
was a rebel,
stereo.
man. I was a rebel.
Yeah,
So,
that's bold, bro. That's bold.
yeah, so I'm listening to it. And then my mother came in. She came in the room like so nonchalant about it. Hit eject, went right to my stereo, pushed eject, took my CD out and snapped it in half and walked out.
Oh. No, that's it?
Yeah, thug life, right? So I was I was like, cool. So I guess I can't listen to that CD no more. But the funny
That's a
thing is,
no-go.
but the funny thing was, it wasn't that we couldn't listen to any secular music. It was just certain music they drew the line on.
Oh yeah, and that one is definitely one who you
that,
draw
that
the line on.
that was definitely
Yeah.
one. And you know, at the time, I didn't understand. I didn't get it. I was like, man. But the funny thing is, to this day, she probably listens to the same CD right now. She probably listens to it right now, honestly.
And that's the funny part. That bro, our parents are very similar. My mom was the same. I had a similar situation, right?
Yeah.
So I really wasn't allowed to listen to no secular music, especially like the music that I liked. You know, my mom still to this day, she don't get down with rock and punk and stuff.
Yeah.
Like she's just like, oh well, that's just like who Ashton is. Like she's giving up.
Yeah.
But I wasn't allowed to listen to no secular music. So I did one of those. You remember them joints you would get like the publishing clearinghouse joints you would get in the mail for like 12 CDs for like $1.
Like a bro, hey.
Or a penny, right?
Hey, chill out. You dating us, man. You making us sound real old.
I know. No one's gonna know what I'm talking. But kids, you used to be able to. They used to send these marketing things where you get 12 CDs for $1, but then they charge you like 6 months later for everything.
Right.
So I didn't know about the charging or anything, but I got this thing through the mail, and it was like it was 12 CDs or 6 CDs or something like that for like $1, and I did it, and I filled out all the information, but I put my mom's information in there.
Yeah.
Right. And I got these CDs. I was like, all the CDs I remember was Big Pun. It was Wyclef Carnival, which was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
I had NSYNC in there. I mess with NSYNC, the original NSYNC. And what was another? I had golly, what was the name of that album that was in there? Man, I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, Lauryn Hill was in there too, which obviously is another game changer. Right. But my mom caught me listening to Big Pun. Out of all those ones,
it could have been NSYNC. It had to be Big Pun.
It had to be Big Pun, right? The same thing. Like my mom used to get home from work mad late normally, so I would be home blasting music on the stereo. You know, no repercussions.
Yeah.
So I had Big Pun on, man. I had Big Pun, and you know, my mom. I could see when my mom would come home, like the garage. I could hear the garage go up.
Yeah.
And so, at any rate, long story short is my mom caught me listening to Big Pun. She made me sit down and listen to the lyrics with her.
She broke them down?
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible, Rob. She was like, so tell me what he means. So tell me what is he talking about when he's talking about putting his little pretty brown hairs in the little whoa, Mom. Whoa.
Awkward.
Chill, Mom.
Awkward.
So awkward. And so yeah, that was traumatic. But yeah, my mom, she wasn't down for any of the music that I wanted to listen to. Like I said, I had to sneak and listen to all the music, any secular music.
That's crazy.
Even when I was like Christian rock, because that's what I listened to, a lot of Christian rock.
Yeah. Because
like I could get away with the Christian rock, and we had, you know, the place in Waldorf, my brother's place.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So like that's where all the local bands would play, and you know, it was really kind of just a hangout for kids. Period. Just like you would but it was cool because you could tell your parents you were going to this Christian coffee house.
You're right, and it's okay.
But, right, you know, but it wasn't that way, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But for me, my mom would even say, like, you know, she was on that vibe. Remember when we were younger, and they would still be like Kirk Franklin was kind of controversial in the gospel community, you know, when we were younger.
Yeah.
Because his music was upbeat, and it was like hip hop, had a lot of hip hop vibes, and they'd be like, it's still, of the world, like
Yeah.
that type of thing, and if, you can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I just
Right.
like, my mom, she wasn't even really down with the Christian rock, and I was definitely rebellious when it came to music. And there's some parts of what my mom and our church told us growing up that are true
Yeah.
about music, but on a grand scheme, like they were wrong.
Yeah. Of course.
They were wrong.
Yeah.
But I was like, look, I always been a lyrics guy. So, the lyrics, that's what hits me. That's what makes an impact on me. And like, that's why I say I got into like that angsty punk music when I was younger, because that spoke to me,
Yeah.
like being mad at your parents and like feeling,
Yeah.
oppressed, and like you thought you had a million problems when you were 14. Like, give me a
Yeah.
break, bro. Like
Life was over if you couldn't do the thing you wanted to do when you were
the
14.
thing you wanted to do. Exactly. That's all it was. Whatever. And I used to think my mom, man, my boys, like, from high school will tell you stories about my mom.
Yeah.
Like, my mom just had this like sixth, seventh, eighth sense of like whenever anything was going down,
She knew.
she knew. And like, and I was a good kid though. Like, she didn't even really have to worry about me.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't the one who was trying to I was too scared. I was too afraid of my mom.
Yeah. And that's what my parents ain't understand either. It may have looked like I was into some stuff, but I wasn't into some
Right.
stuff. I was just I minded my business a lot, man, honestly. But I do remember that about you, man, because one thing that I admire about you are always like a chameleon. You know what I mean? You fit in with everybody, honestly. Like, you know how high school is. It's like you got your different sections
Yep.
of people. Because I feel like I was the same way. Like, I got along with everybody pretty much. So, but as far as your music,
Definitely.
right? As far as your music, did you start out just writing like on a poetic type thing, or
Yes.
I can hear it in your music?
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely where it started, and I think where it continues. I write all the time, and so that's definitely where it goes. And I think you'll hear it. And I hope my EP's done. Like, it's been done for a while, but in the digital world that we're in, it's just releasing singles and things like that, and trying to make sure you have the right marketing push behind things. Between you and I guess whoever else listens to this now, but like, I've had opportunities with labels who have heard my stuff or believed in my stuff, and have, I've been in a position where to take a record deal. And at first it was like, yeah, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this record deal, because, a combination of like age and like what I want to do. And obviously everybody wanted to be successful. Like, those things, it's like, look, I don't know how many more shots I'm going to have at this.